Mama, are you feeling overwhelmed with all the things on your calendar? Are you a mama just feeling burdened with all the daily tasks? Well, today we're going to talk about time management. Hey, Mama! If you're looking to have a deeper relationship with Jesus and searching for a community of Christian moms, I'm so glad you are here. I'm a Christian wife and mom who is passionate about helping mamas finally let go of the mom guilt and learn to live loved. I want to help mamas see that they are truly and perfectly loved, especially in motherhood. Welcome back to the Live Loved Mom podcast. I'm Sindy, your host. I'm a wife, mom, and lover of Jesus. Let's dig into God's Word together and get encouraged while we're on this journey of motherhood. Let's learn some parenting tips and mom hacks and learn how to raise our kids God's way. So, grab your coffee, listen on your drive to work, or maybe put that forgotten load of laundry back to wash again. Let's tackle mom guilt together and learn to live loved. I don't know about you, but sometimes it could just feel like, oh my goodness, like we have so much to do and so little time, right? But I think for me, what has worked in my life is that I have learned to really, I wouldn't say master because it's like still a learning, how to manage my time better. So I think, for me, one thing that I really think is very helpful is to always kind of take a step back, just take a step back and just kind of see where our time is going, right? Because we all have 24 hours in a day. And for some reason, I feel like some people just seem to get like so much more done, right, than we can. But I really think that one of the ways that we can be better at managing our time is to really pay attention to where our time is going and be aware of where it's going. And I'm saying this as somebody who recently realized that I spend way too much time on social media. Okay. And this is how this happened. I was fasting and I said, you know what? I'm also going to fast from social media. And I will kid you not, I clicked on Instagram so many times and really unconsciously that all of a sudden I was like, wait, how did I even get on here? So I really had to move the icon from the main screen on my phone to like the third page, so I don't just automatically click on it. And I realized, oh my gosh, like this is a problem because social media can be so time consuming and we don't realize it. We just get sucked into this vortex. And my goodness, I was just like, this is a real issue. And it's not necessarily that, what I'm looking at or scrolling on is detrimental. I mean, it could be because obviously, with comparison and all that stuff, you start thinking, oh, they're on vacation. I want to go on vacation. Oh, their house looks so nice. I want my house to look so nice. But besides that, I feel like my algorithm is actually pretty good because it always is sending me like, Christian stuff, biblical stuff. So I love that. And I get sucked into that. But then it's like, well, is that really where I should be spending my time, So number one tip I would say is to assess and track where our time is going. Are we spending way too much time on one thing or the other? And the only way for us to find out is to actually track where we spend our time. Maybe to the point to be so tedious to like put a timer for each task that we're doing. Not necessarily to beat the clock, but just to track how long it took us to do it. Because sometimes we think that like the things that we don't like to do, like doing the dishes and doing the laundry and cleaning. I'm sorry, that's the things I don't like to do. I think we think that those things are just like, this is going to take forever. When truly, if we just put a timer, then we'll realize what little time it takes to do it. And listen, I'm not pointing fingers. I'm literally just speaking to myself right now. So I would say track and assess where we spend our time. And then the second thing I would say is to prioritize. the things that we have to do. Like after you created like the list of all the things that you've done, look at that list. What are the important things that you need to get done? I would say like pick the big 5. What are your big 5s for that day? So the big 5s are, what are the 5 most important things for you to get done that day? I think that's a really good way to kind of set the tone for the day and kind of have like your goals and expectations for the day. I look at it as, that analogy where they have like a jar that needs to be filled up, but you put like you put sand and then the smaller rocks and then the big pebbles in the jar and try to fit it all in, right? But it doesn't fit. But if you do it the other way around, where you put like the bigger pieces in and then the little things and then the sand all around it, it's like, oh, now you're able to fit it all in. So I look at it the same way, that if we prioritize like what's really important, and that's another thing, is like we have to figure out what's really important to us, right? Because I think sometimes we just add stuff to the calendar just to add stuff to the calendar. So if we're not living with intentionality, then we're just going to keep adding stuff to the calendar. But if we're really intentional about how our day is going to go, not just, in our household as a mom, but as a family, like exactly how do you want the day to go? Not saying that we're God and we are going to ordain everything that's going to happen, but just to have a plan, right? I am a very firm believer in having a plan and surrendering that plan to the Lord, because his ways are always higher than ours, right? And as moms, we know we can plan all we want. Very rarely do things go exactly as planned when we're parents, right? Like it's just the reality of it. And we have to be okay with that. We have to accept it. So I think look at your day, look at the tasks that you have to do for that day, and just determine what are your big 5s. What are the big 5 things that you need to get done that day? And then once you do that, then you can start, putting the rest of the things that you need to get done that day on your list. So first, track and assess where your time is going now. Make a list of all the things that you need to get done in a day, because some things are just part of our daily routine, right? It's just things that need to get done every day or every week or whatever it is. Kind of make a list of those things, your responsibilities and whatnot. And then the third thing I would say is, well, also when you're prioritizing, determine your big 5s and then add on the rest of it. And then the third thing I would say is to be okay with saying no. Really, truly, from a recovering people pleaser, take this advice. Really think about the things that you say yes to. It's okay to say no. No is not a bad word. No just means that you can't commit to it because you have other things that you're committed to. And one of the things that I think as moms need to realize is that if we're not intentional, if we just say yes to everything, we are doing not only ourselves a disservice, but also doing our family a disservice. We're also doing a disservice to the Lord, because he gave us our time and we need to manage it and steward it well, So I think one of the things with being intentional and trying to be more present with our kids is to really learn to manage our time properly, not to just fill up our schedule to just fill up our schedule. I think one of the things to think about too is when we keep filling up our schedule, why are we doing that? Why do we keep adding more and more stuff? And I think it takes some kind of like reflection and just sitting and thinking like, why do I feel the need to always have something on my calendar? Because I really think that really can reveal something to us and bring something to the surface that we might not be aware of. It might be that, I don't know, you feel lonely. You don't want to be by yourself. You just want to be surrounded by people. I don't know what that is for you, But I would, say maybe take some time to really think and pray about that. Like, if you are the type of person that likes to fill up your schedule and always be doing something, maybe something to think, pray, and reflect about is, why do I feel the need to always fill up my day, right? Like, are you okay with just not having all the things to do, not having all the events to be at? Not saying that you should seclude yourself and not do anything, but I think there is kind of a balance, right? There's a balance. Okay, I need to make sure that I am here, intentional and present with my family, but I also need to be intentional and present with, the things that are helpful to help me fill up my cup as well, right? Not saying that in a selfish way at all, just saying that, as the person that you are, Sindy, right? Before the role of mom, you had things that you enjoyed. And, sometimes it's nice to just not just do those things, but to actually have intentionality and scheduling those things to do, right? Like, what are your hobbies, the things that, you love to do, or the things that you want to do? Like, I don't know, is it sourdough baking? Is it gardening? Oh my gosh, lately I have been gardening a lot. If you subscribe to the newsletter, you know that I've been sending like little snippets of what my little garden looks like on the patio here, on my balcony in my apartment. But yeah, that's like, for me, like, gardening has been like a new hobby for me lately. I don't know if it's like, you turn 40 and you start gardening. I don't know what it is. I have previously attempted to garden before I was 40, just to say, and it just didn't turn out well. Like, I would just kill all the things. But God is gracious and he has allowed me to try it again. And so far we're doing much better this time around. So subscribe to the newsletter if you want to keep being updated about how my gardening is going. Anyways, back to the topic at hand here. So yeah, I think it's important to, learn to say no. Just no. You don't have to say it in a rude way. You could just say, hey, let me check my calendar. Let me get back to you on that. Unfortunately, I can't make it. I have a meeting scheduled for that day. Even if the meeting is, listen, your time with the Lord, your time to spend with your kids, like, this is something that's important to you. If it is something that is important to you, then it is a priority for you, right? So just because it is a good thing doesn't mean that it's for you, because there are plenty of good things out there. There are so many activities, so many things, right? Like Bible study, for example. Bible study is a great thing. Being surrounded with other believers, learning about God's word, or going through a Christian book, whatever it is, right? It's a good thing. But just because it's good doesn't mean that it's for you. And the only way for you to find out if it's for you is to seek the Lord. Seek the Lord, ask him, should I be doing this? Should I be joining another Bible study? Should I be adding this other thing to my calendar? Should I commit to something else? And I think if we take the time to just be still and just listen, he will reveal to us, the things to say no to, the things to keep a priority. And also, I think that helps you really be intentional where you are spending your time, right? I mean, the whole concept here is to become more present moms. And how to be more present is to learn to manage our time better. So make time for God, make time for your family, make time to fill up your cup too, make time to spend with friends, intentionally look for activities that will just help build stronger bonds between you, your family, the Lord, all of these things, right? And really kind of prioritize your day from what's most important to you. What are your big fives? So for me, I would say the takeaway here is to really assess where you spend your time, prioritize your day, and be okay with just saying no. Not every good thing is for you. Not every good activity is for you. Just because it's so-and-so's baby shower, it's, all of these things can just start piling up and adding up. And we have to really be intentional with where we spend our time and really learn to steward it well. That's, I think, what I would say when it comes to managing our time. And try to remove like distractions too. Like, look at your list, and if there are things that you discuss with the Lord, of course, but if there are things on your list of to-dos or the commitments that you've made that just is not supposed to be there, be okay with removing it. If the Lord is telling you no, take it off your plate and lighten your load. But if you do have all of these things that the Lord says, yes, add it on there, yes, do it, and you're feeling overwhelmed or whatever it is, I would say to learn to really lean on the Lord in those times, and also learn to delegate the things that you can delegate. I think that's like a bonus tip for you here, is to really learn to delegate the things that can be delegated and really lean on the Lord when it comes to what you should include on your calendar. I wanted to end the episode with a verse. This is from Ecclesiastes 3. It says, "For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." Thank you for listening to today's episode. I pray that it has blessed you in some way. If you found value in this episode, or you know a mama who could use some encouragement, please be sure to share the episode with them. Would you take just a few minutes to leave a review on Apple Podcasts? It would mean a great deal to me if you could let me know what you thought of the episode. Be sure to follow us at Live Love Mom Podcast on Instagram. And if you haven't already, come join us in our free Live Love Mom community on Facebook. Let's mom alongside each other and continue to learn to live loved.